What is going on, Swayze gang? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for tuning into today's video. As you can tell, I am very excited. It's a video I've been waiting to do for a really long time. In today's video, me and my brother buy my dad his ultimate dream car for his 60th birthday. So no, this is not clickbait. I am not lying to you. I'm not leading you on to just show you an RC car that we bought him. No, we bought him a true full-size vehicle. Now, I'm sure that none of you actually saw this car coming, but I actually did drop a hint on the Instagram back in September that something new was coming to the channel in January. It was a simple photo of the envelope of this car, and to be honest, it was actually the title for this vehicle, but that envelope and the story was actually a foreshadow of what I knew was going to happen in January 2021. And this gift definitely deserves a little bit of a backstory. So my parents, including my brother actually, were born in the former Soviet Union. Now, I'm not going to dive into the details of which country they were born and where they lived or anything like that, because that is a topic for a whole different video. A very interesting story, but just not something I'm going to touch on today. But growing up in the Soviet Union, things were obviously a little bit different than they were here in the United States. You know, groceries were different. You couldn't just go to the store and buy any type of groceries you wanted. Life was definitely different. And toys and toy cars were definitely no exception. You know, my dad was always big into cars, and that is actually where my passion came from. He taught me how to draw cars. You know, he taught me all about the engines and transmissions and how they work. The reason I am into cars today is because my dad was a huge influence in getting me into cars at a very early age. Now, the story begins with my late grandfather. So that is my dad's father. When my dad was very young, probably like 8 or 9 years old, my grandfather had bought him this little toy car, which I will get to what it was in a minute. Now, this car was really, really special and really cool. Now, keep in mind, in the former Soviet Union, you couldn't just walk into any store and buy cars like this like you can in the United States. It was definitely a little bit more difficult to find a car and to also purchase it. And so, as you can tell, my grandpa had to go through quite a little bit of work to find this little model car because he knew my dad was really into cars. Now, this car was really cool because it had some features that a lot of little toy cars from the 60s and 70s didn't have. It had pop-up headlights, it had an engine bay that opened up and the wheels were spinning, and you may have an idea of what this car is, but I assure you, you probably have no clue, because it's not a very popular car. They didn't make too many of these. But nonetheless, my dad really, really loved this car. Now, a few years went by and this toy was still really special to my dad. And unfortunately, my late grandfather passed away when my dad was still really young. Now, I'm not going to go to the extent of saying this toy meant so much to him that this would remind him of his dad, but it was definitely something special for him that reminded him of his father years after he had passed. Now, as you can tell, I am in the United States. So obviously at some point in time, my parents moved from the former Soviet Union here to the United States. And this happened during the collapse of the Soviet Union. But during that collapse, there was a lot of transitioning. And so they were able to immigrate over here into the United States. Now, obviously, it wasn't an easy journey, and they actually had to go through various countries to finally arrive here in the US. Now, somewhere along the journey of moving from the former Soviet Union to the United States, this toy car was lost. At this point, my father was in his mid-30s, and he had kept the car for a very, very long time. It was always special to him. And unfortunately, when they got here to the US, they could only bring certain belongings, and so he just assumed that he probably forgot it somewhere in the Soviet Union. Now, me and my brother actually didn't know about this story until probably about 5 years ago. Now, I'm not quite sure exactly why this car came up, but it may have been that we were watching Jay Leno's Garage, and as a hint, Jay Leno actually owns this exact vehicle, which isn't even much of a hint because Jay Leno owns like a million cars, but that may have been what reminded him of this car because we were watching Jay Leno and that car came up on the screen and it just brought back some of the memories that he had with this little toy car. Full disclosure, I had no idea what this car was when he told us the name, and neither did my brother. Like I said, it is not the most popular car that they made here in the US in the 60s. It's not a Mustang or a Challenger or anything like that, but in my opinion, it is just as special of a vehicle. So my dad tells us this whole story. He tells us how the toy car he had pop-up headlights, all of the details about the doors opening and the interior and everything, and you could tell how happy he was about this car. In fact, a few weeks later, he ordered a little die-cast model on eBay, and he keeps it in his office as kind of a keepsake to remind him of the toy car that he had when he was a kid. Well, 5 years ago, when my dad told us this story, me and my brother made this goal that perhaps for my dad's 60th birthday, assuming, our finances are okay and we're able to find one, we will gift our dad a real-life version of this car. And to be completely honest, the search for this car started in about summer of 2019. We were actively looking at the classifieds and online, trying to find perhaps a car that we could either restore or buy and hold on to for a year and a half until my dad's 60th birthday. We actually found one car. It was on the higher end of our price range, but it wasn't exactly what he wanted. It wasn't the right color, and it had the vinyl top, which the one that he purchased on eBay, the little die-cast one, which was a replica of the one he had as a kid, did not have the vinyl top. So it just didn't feel like the right fit for us to purchase this car. We found another one that was actually on the low end of our price range, but unfortunately, that car was, sorry to say, pretty much a rust bucket. We realized that if we were to buy this car, we would probably have to spend at least a year to a year and a half restoring it. And so we started doing the math to figure out if it was really economically feasible for us to do something like that, seeing as how we're not mechanics, and we would have to take it to some sort of body shop or fabricator to be able to make this car look good. We were actually thinking about going down that route until we started looking up some parts on this car. And like I said earlier, it's not very popular. So to find something like a floor pan isn't really accessible on any old muscle car website. You pretty much have to have a metal fabricator create a custom floor pan for this car. So as I'm sure you can guess, the price of restoring one of these cars from rust bucket to drivable vehicle is going to be very expensive and will probably easily exceed the budget we had for this vehicle. So we continue to search over the next year and a half, and we fast forward to September of 2020. Now, as I'm sure you guys remember from last year, I talked about potentially buying a project car for the channel. Now, that was before I bought the Hellcat, so plans have changed for the channel. But because of that, I happened to stumble upon an auction website just searching for fun cars that I could potentially add to the channel. And lo and behold, on the very first page of this auction website shows up the exact color and the exact year of car that my dad had as a toy when he was a kid. It was as if fate from above had directed me to this website at this point in time, and better yet, there was only 24 hours left to bid on this vehicle to potentially buy it. Which means me and my brother had 24 hours to decide if we were going to buy a car essentially sight unseen, because we wouldn't have time to fly out and take a look at the car, and to make sure that we were ready to kind of move forward with this big gift idea. So we discussed it that night, and we realized that we were not going to get any better opportunity to buy his dream car. We only had about 4 or 5 months left until his birthday, and the chances of finding another one that was somewhat close in the area is pretty unlikely. So that is when the real work began, and I started bidding on this vehicle on this website. And I'm not gonna lie, the last minute of bidding was very, very nerve-wracking, because at that point, it's up to fate whether this car is really destined to be ours or not. Well, I wouldn't be making this video if we did not win the bid on the car. We got the alert message saying, congratulations, you're the highest bidder. And then my brother began the process of figuring out how to ship it from where it was in a nearby state all the way here to Utah before the weather conditions got really bad. So a few weeks went by, and mid-October, this car arrives in Utah. Now, the footage you're about to see is actually me walking up to the transport vehicle and seeing the car for the very first time in person. All right, first time. Wow. Wow, that's cool. So for those of you who still have not guessed what this car is, it is a 1966 Oldsmobile Toronado. I'm sure most of you still have no idea what this car is because, like I said, it was not made in the millions like a Ford Mustang or a Dodge Challenger. It was a very rare vehicle, and honestly, 66 was probably the best year to buy this car because in the future years, they ended up tapering down the design and making it a little bit more of a standard looking vehicle. Now, what is amazing about the Toronado is it was a medley between American muscle and American luxury. Yes, it's an aggressive looking two-door coupe that looks more like a muscle car, but the inside had luxury features like automatic windows, it had vacuum powered headlights, it was also front-wheel drive, one of the early, if not the first version of a front-wheel drive vehicle. It had a big block engine under the hood. The one we purchased actually had a 455 cubic inch engine, which is absolutely massive, but it's perfect for cruising on long road trips. It's essentially the ultimate GT car. And my dad isn't into the muscle car racing. He just really loved this car because he liked all of the cool features like the pop-up headlights and the leather seats. He just thought it was an all-around cool car. Now don't get me wrong, he has his own sports car that he loves driving around and he enjoys the hell out of it. But this car wasn't meant to be a sports car or even a full muscle car. It was meant to be kind of a transition between the two. Now, if you guys are interested in this car, I definitely recommend you Google search it or find some more information on it because it really is a cool car of that decade. And like I said, Jay Leno has one that he restored, and I think he put like a 1,000 horsepower engine into it or something like that. So you guys can check out those videos on YouTube as well if you're interested. So in early October, this car arrives and we hide it from my dad at my brother's house for a few months. Now what's funny is nobody else knows about this car. There are only 3 people at the time when we picked it up that knew about it. That was me, my brother, and my fiance. And so we had to keep it a secret for about 3 months until my dad's birthday in early January. So within the span of the 3 months, me and my brother drive it around a little bit. We wash it, we clean it, we get it all nice and waxed and shiny. We get it registered with the state and we're ready to deliver this car to my dad. So fast forward and it is early January and my dad's 60th birthday rolls around. The day before my dad's birthday, me and my brother drive the car from my brother's house all the way to my house and we park it right in the middle of the garage, right over here, the beautiful 66 Toronado, which is actually longer than my Hellcat, is parked and ready for the big surprise. So on the morning of my dad's birthday, me and my brother drive over to my parents' house, and we usually have this tradition of opening up gifts in the morning. So in order for him to have something to open up, me and my brother decide to wrap a blindfold in a gift bag. So he opens up the gift and we tell him that he has to put this blindfold on because we are going to have to go somewhere. At this point in time, he has no clue. He doesn't know where we're going or anything like that. So he puts the blindfold on and he gets into my car along with my mom. Now, we didn't put a blindfold on my mom, but she had no idea what was going on either. So finally, we get to the house. I open up the garage and I set him pretty much right over here in front of the door into the house. Now the video you're about to see of us taking off his blindfold and his reaction is 100% genuine. We wanted to make sure we caught his initial reactions on camera, so I set up cameras kind of in multiple different places to make sure I could see what his real reaction was when he sees the car for the very first time. And without further ado, this is us gifting my dad his dream car for his 60th birthday. All right, so it is the morning of his birthday and we've got the Toronado right here. Thing is looking amazing. I'm so stoked. I don't even know what he's gonna say. This has just been his dream car for so long. I don't know if he's gonna be angry at us for buying him this because he hates when we get him big gifts, or if he's gonna be super excited, or somewhere in between. I have no idea. So I'm about to head to my parents' house and then we're gonna drive over here and he's gonna see it for the very first time. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah. Stand right here. Don't open it. You just turn around and stand here.
You're good. Ступень Кента, не бойся.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, you want to take it off him?
Are you gonna film their reaction?
Yeah.
Что?
Okay.
Все? Можно?
Да.
You ready?
Yep.
Okay. Откройте.
Ух ты!
Что это?
Это тебе машина.
О май гад! О май гад! О, зачем? Вы сумасшедшие!
Do you know what car this is?
Вот, yes, Oldsmobile. Торнадо, торнадо.
Была и мысль, что
О,
это машина, но я
май
думаю, с ума
гад.
сошли, что ли.
То, что ты хотел, то, что твоя модель была.
Да, и цвет. О, вау. You guys crazy. You definitely crazy. Wow.
I was thinking about this.
Это же огромные деньги стоит.
So,
Вы сумасшедшие.
why don't you have a seat?
Yeah, take a look
Oh my
inside.
God. Oh my. Wow. Wow.
And it's even the color you want.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. I guess because you're taking us there, it's a car, but I don't want car.
It's crazy.
Take a seat.
It's crazy.
Yeah, go
Wow.
on the driver's side.
My guys, it's a huge amount of money. You crazy guys. Oh. What did you do? Oh my God. Wow. Unbelievable. Oh my God.
Garbage.
Oh my God.
I'll give you a hug.
Do you like it?
It's eight
I love
cylinder.
it.
It's like 450 cubic inches of a cylinder. It's huge, so it's a big block.
It's 7.5 liter.
Oh my God.
It's power doors, power windows. It's a luxury car for the time.
Сыночка, зачем вы
You
это?
guys are crazy. I was thinking, but then I thought, are you crazy guys?
So there you have it, folks. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Now, the reason I made this video is because my parents and my brother as well are a huge influence on what I do in my life. I obviously would not be where I am today with the cars that I have without the discipline and the influence and the advice that my parents provide on a daily basis. And I'm very, very fortunate, and I know I'm very lucky to have such supportive parents in my life, and my brother thinks the same way. And so the least we could do for my dad for giving us so much over the years, so much of his love and attention, was to give him something that reminded him of his childhood. And it was very important for us to do this, and it was really by the fate of God that we were able to find this car within enough time in pretty decent condition. Obviously, there is some work that needs to be done. There's actually quite a bit of work that needs to be done, but the fact that it was drivable, it wasn't rusted through or anything like that, the fact we were able to find one with enough time to get it for his birthday was truly just luck or God or whatever have you. And we were very grateful for that to have happened. I wanted to share this story with you because I think it's a really cool story. And not a lot of people have this kind of crazy past. Being able to share that with some of my fellow subscribers and viewers is really fun to do. I'm really proud of my family and where they've come from and where they are now. And I hope this car gives him a little bit of joy and something to distract himself from the day-to-day life and day-to-day stress. I do plan on having this car more on the channel. Probably when the weather gets better, me and my dad will go to some car shows together and we'll park the Hellcat and the Tornados side by side, and it's going to be really fun driving that car around when the weather gets a little bit better. At the moment, it's mostly just parked because there is some work that still needs to be done, but once that is over, I assure you, you're going to see this car on the channel. So there you have it, folks. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Like always, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and make sure you hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date on all of these crazy new updates to the channel. Also, find me on Instagram at Shwazy_, where I will post some cool photos of the Tornado as well. Like always, stay Shwazy, stay healthy, and have a wonderful day.